Your parents bought a 3-bedroom house on a single income while drowning in debt with a roommate. You have a degree they told you would fix everything. Ever wonder why the same hard work that gave them stability leaves you paycheck to paycheck? Today, I'll explain how the economy changed between your parents' generation and yours like you're 5 years old. By the end, you'll understand exactly which systems broke and why your dollar doesn't stretch like theirs did. You'll also understand what actually changed in the math of building a life. In 1980, your dad could work a regular job. Nothing fancy, maybe sales or middle management. That paycheck covered a mortgage, a car, and groceries for 4 kids. It even covered a summer road trip to the Grand Canyon on one income, one job. The whole American package. That wasn't luck or some exceptional circumstance. That was just completely normal back then. Expected even. But here's the thing. That same job today, adjusted for inflation, pays roughly the same. The house cost 4 times as much, and everything else got expensive in ways that make your head spin. Imagine you and your parents are both playing the same video game, but someone secretly updated your version. Everything costs more, and the rewards stayed exactly the same. You're grinding just as hard, following all the same rules they told you about, but you keep losing. And when you ask why, everyone just tells you to grind harder. Meanwhile, your parents beat the game on default difficulty with starter equipment and genuinely don't understand why you're struggling. That's not a metaphor. That's just what actually happened. The first thing that broke was housing, and it broke hard. In 1980, the median home price was about $64,000, and median household income was around $21,000. So a house cost roughly 3 times what a family made in a year. 3 years of income, and you could own a home. That was the deal. Today, the median home price is over $400,000, but median household income is only about $75,000. That's more than 5 times your annual income just to get in the door. In high-cost cities like San Francisco or New York, that ratio stretches to 10 or 12 times your income. And it gets worse from there. Mortgage rates in 1980 were brutal, like 13 to 18%. Here's what nobody mentions, though. Home prices were so low that even those brutal rates produced a manageable monthly payment on one middle-class income. Today, rates are lower, but prices are so high that your monthly payment still eats half your paycheck. And that's if you can even scrape together a down payment, which now means saving $80,000 while paying $2,000 a month in rent. Meanwhile, the inventory of starter homes has shrunk dramatically because builders stopped constructing them. There's more profit in luxury units. Between 2010 and 2020, the construction of entry-level homes dropped by nearly 50%. It's like trying to fill a bathtub while someone yanks the drain plug and yells at you for not filling it fast enough. But housing is just the beginning. Here's where the game really rigged itself. In 1980, a year of public university tuition cost about $800, and minimum wage was $3.10 an hour. Work a summer job, pick up a few hours during the semester, and you graduated without debt. Today, that same public university charges over $10,000 a year. Federal minimum wage is $7.25, maybe $15 if you live somewhere reasonable. You'd have to work full-time year-round just to cover tuition alone. Not housing, not food, not books, just tuition. And the kicker? Everyone told you that you had to go to college or you'd end up flipping burgers. So you borrowed $50,000 for a degree that now qualifies you to flip burgers with a diploma on the wall. Total student loan debt in America has crossed $1.7 trillion, carried by over 43 million borrowers. The average monthly student loan payment runs about $400, money that used to go toward down payments and retirement savings. You started adult life $50,000 in the hole before you bought your first couch. Now here's where it gets weird. Productivity actually exploded. Since 1979, American workers became 60% more productive. We're doing more work, faster, with better tools. Companies are making record profits. The economy, by every official measure, is doing great. But wages barely moved. If wages had kept up with productivity, the average worker would be making about $72,000 a year instead of $56,000. That's $16,000 a year that went somewhere else. Over a career, that's roughly $500,000 you earned but never saw. The share of national income going to workers has been steadily declining since the early 1970s, while the share going to capital, stocks, property, dividends, keeps climbing. Your parents lived in the window where productivity gains showed up in paychecks. You're living in the era where they show up in shareholder reports and CEO bonuses. You get Pizza Fridays and a culture of excellence. It's not just about what you make, it's about what that paycheck has to cover now. Healthcare alone. In 1980, the average family spent about $2,000 a year on it. Today, it's over $12,000 with insurance. You're paying $400 a month in premiums with a $5,000 deductible. That means you're covering roughly $10,000 a year before insurance actually helps with anything serious. Your parents had employer-covered plans and pensions. You have a high-deductible plan that makes you debate whether a broken finger is really an ER situation or more of a walk-it-off situation. And because medical debt is now the leading cause of bankruptcy in America, that debate has very real financial stakes. Nearly 100 million Americans are currently carrying some form of medical debt, and most of them had insurance when the bill arrived. That last part deserves to land. Having insurance is no longer a guarantee you won't go broke getting care. Then there's childcare. Your parents had grandma down the street or a neighbor who watched kids for $50 a week. Childcare now costs more than college tuition. Full-time daycare runs about $1,200 a month per kid. 2 kids means $28,000 a year. After taxes, that's almost an entire salary just to keep your children safe while you work. So households need 2 incomes to survive. But one of those incomes goes straight to paying someone else to do the job the stay-at-home parent used to do. You're paying someone to raise your kids so you can afford to have kids. The logic ate itself. So why did all of this actually happen? Here are the big ones. Reagan-era policies gutted union power, and unions were the mechanism that forced wages upward. When union membership dropped from 25% of workers to under 11%, wages flatlined, and workers lost their leverage. Without collective bargaining, there was no check on how companies distributed profits, and they kept more of it at the top. Wall Street decided housing should be an investment asset instead of a place people live. Private equity firms started buying homes, renting them back to you at inflated prices, and turning your need for shelter into a dividend check. College became a profit center. Loans became inescapable. Healthcare became a business. Every single system that used to work for regular people got squeezed for profit. And the people doing the squeezing convinced everyone that if you're struggling, it's your fault for not hustling hard enough. Your parents didn't work harder than you. They weren't more disciplined. They just existed in an economy that rewarded showing up. Wages tracked with cost of living, and a good job meant real stability. Retirement meant a pension, not a prayer that the stock market doesn't collapse the year you turn 65. They played on easy mode, and the prize was a middle-class life. You're playing on hard mode, and the prize is not being completely buried in debt by 40. And here's the worst part. The people who won under the old system look at you and say you're entitled, that you're lazy, that you just need to stop buying coffee and avocado toast, as if skipping a $6 latte closes a $16,000 annual wage gap. They can't see that the game changed, so they think you're playing badly. They don't realize you're playing a completely different game, with different rules, steeper costs, and no cheat codes. Your parents lived better on less, because the system was built to reward their participation. Yours is built to extract. Houses went from 3 times your income to more than 5 times. College went from a summer job expense to a $50,000 debt sentence. Wages flatlined while productivity climbed 60%. Healthcare, childcare, and groceries quietly became luxury expenses. And every system that used to work for regular people got turned into someone else's profit center. So here's the real question. If the old path is dead, what does the new one actually look like? And who gets to decide?